Welcome to English Practice Stories.
Hi, my dear friends, how are you? Let's start the story. What do you have there, Cassie? I asked my daughter as she was playing with something in the living room. Oh, it's just a marker I got from my friend. She smiled at me as she responded, and I didn't think anything of it. My daughter is a very sociable 7-year-old with a lot of neighborhood friends. I was about to walk away to continue cooking dinner when I saw a strange marking on Cassie's birthday gift. Cassie, please don't draw on your present. That mirror was an antique your mother and I bought you. I am sorry, Daddy. My friend told me to write it. I am not sure what it is, but I think it's pretty. She smiled once again, disarming my frustration, but I was still confused by what I was looking at. Did one of her friends speak a different language? I looked again at the odd mark on the fancy hand mirror. My wife and I had bought the mirror for Cassie's 7th birthday from an estate sale. It was a very old antique beauty mirror with real silver and sapphires studded into it. We were surprised it was so cheap considering the valuable materials, but we weren't complaining. The marking she left on the hand mirror edge, written just on the corner where the glass met metal, was some odd little rune of sigil. The mark looked like 5 Ys stacked together and did not look like any language I recognized, and I did not know how she knew to draw something like that on her own. I was puzzled, so I decided to ask her, "Hey, honey, what friend told you to draw this marking?" She paused briefly, and her smile shifted to one of unease that concerned me. "Well," she started, "you probably won't believe me, but it was the Mirror Man. He told me it's a number from his world." It made more sense now. It was just some imaginary friend, and the marking was just made up. Cassie was very talented at drawing for only being 7, so I didn't put it past her to draw such an intricate design. "Oh, did he now?" I asked with my own disarming smile and a brief chuckle. She did not smile back, and she looked a little sad. "I knew you wouldn't believe me. He said you wouldn't." I seemed to have upset her, so I decided to play along, or at least in a way that did not seem like it was condescending or poking fun at her friend. "Okay, honey, I am sorry. Did the Mirror Man say what the number was for?" She smiled again and said, "Yes. He said it had to do with his visit, and that the numbers and the mirror would let him visit soon." "Okay, well, tell the Mirror Man that we can play, but no drawing on the mirror. We got you for your birthday. It is very old and very valuable." She loved the mirror and used it all the time, despite my initial protest to keep it safe in her room since she could lose it or it could be stolen. She talked to it and played with it, first pretending to do mirror mirror on the wall, but recently it seems her new mirror game is talking to the Mirror Man and writing whatever comes to her mind. I loved her stories and her creativity, but that look she gave when I doubted her seemed genuine, and it troubled me. The next day, I had gotten home from work early and decided to surprise her with pizza. I just got in the door and was bringing it into the kitchen when I heard Cassie talking again in the living room this time. Okay, galas, but I don't want to get in trouble. Dad will be mad if I leave those marks on the mirror and on the other ones. There was an odd pause, and I wondered for a fleeting moment if she was actually talking with someone. Who was Gallus? Was that what she had named the Mirror Man? There was no response, and Cassie came in the kitchen and greeted me warmly, seemingly not reacting to whatever her friend had told her. I thought it was odd, but again, I chalked it up to her imagination. Later that night, I was woken up by a noise from something downstairs. I almost went back to sleep, but I heard it again and resolved to check it out. I was briefly concerned it might be an intruder, but I focused on the sound and heard the light patter of Cassie's footsteps and relaxed. There is no intruder, but she shouldn't be up. I was being run ragged with my wife being away for the week at a conference, and I had wanted to talk to her more about this behavior with Cassie, but she was too busy to discuss it at any length. When I got downstairs, I saw Cassie in the living room with her marker. She appeared to be drawing on the mirror on the wall in there. I was a little frustrated that she had ignored my previous request, and I went into the room to talk with her. She gasped, clearly startled that I was there, almost as if I had broken her from a trance. "Oh, Dad, I'm sorry. I really had to, though. I want to see my friend, and he says I have to draw these on all the mirrors, or I won't be able to see him." Once again, I was surprised to see the honest look of concern in her eyes, and I couldn't tell if it was just that she had been caught or if there really was something important that she thought she was doing. "I don't want to stifle your creativity, honey, but you really can't be drawing on all the mirrors like that, and you really can't be disobeying me or Mommy when we say not to do something. I don't know if that marker is permanent or if we will be able to clean those off." I tried to tell her in as amicable a way as possible, but I could tell she was upset by my tone and feeling guilty and sad. I took her back upstairs and tucked her back into bed. I had to use the bathroom on my way back to my room, and when I turned on the light, I let out a frustrated groan. She had left a marking on the mirror up here as well. This time it had a large-looking Y with 3 smaller ones above it. I remember the marking from yesterday and thought the character looked similar. Whatever it was not random. It had some design or purpose and did indeed look like a number, since the previous character had 5 Ys and this one had 4. I thought perhaps my daughter, despite being so young, may have somehow learned bits of another language, but how? We didn't exactly have the resources on hand here to teach her a new language at 7 years old. The next day, while I was at work, I got a call from Cassie's school and found out she had gotten into a fight. I was surprised and concerned. That was not like her. I had to pick her up from school and was told by the principal that a classmate had tried to take her mirror to look at it, and she had gotten very upset and punched them in the face to get it back. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. That was not like Cassie at all. I tried talking to her in the car back home, but she was sullen and brooding about the event. After reminding her we don't respond to people taking our things with violence, she interrupted in a frustrated outburst, stating, "Gallas is my friend. I did not want to lose him." That name again, Gallas. I figured it must be her made-up name for the Mirror Man. This was getting old, though. Now it was affecting her school, and violent outbursts like this could get her expelled. I tried talking to her again, and she shut down and barely acknowledged I was talking to her. I didn't know what to do, and I was wishing her mother had been home just then because what I was doing was not working. After an uncomfortable and silent dinner, I put her to bed and started to get ready to sleep myself when I heard something that sounded like creaking on the stairs. Not again. I went downstairs and sure enough, Cassie was there, holding her mirror in one hand and the marker in the other, writing on the living room mirror again. I was over it at that point. I stormed into the room, startling her again. "Not again, no more of this. You are cleaning these up tomorrow, but first, you are going to bed, and you are giving me the mirror." She looked like she was about to cry and spoke. "No, I can't. Not yet. Gallas will be angry." I was getting so tired of this game that I shouted again, took the mirror, and sent her upstairs. She let go of it and didn't fight me over it, pausing briefly to look at me and then at the mirror. She ran upstairs, a faint sob making me feel terrible about what I had done, despite my initial feeling of vindication at catching her breaking the rules again. I looked down at the thing, and sure enough, there was another marking. This time it looked like 3 very slender Ys. The numbers seemed to be counting down from whatever they started at. I was puzzled at whatever language they were in again, and how Cassie would know how to write in it. While considering these things, my eyes were drawn towards the center of the mirror, and I felt an odd sense of vertigo and felt very unnerved all of a sudden. I started to entertain suspicions that there was more to this mirror than we knew at first, and I was wishing I knew more about the people whose estate sale we had bought this from. The next morning, Cassie did not come downstairs for breakfast, and I went up to check on her, and she said she was feeling sick. I checked her temperature, and she did have a low-grade fever, so I let her stay home from school. When I was leaving, Cassie stopped me and looked up at me. "Daddy, can I please have my mirror back?" I was not sure after all of the things that had happened so far with this game, but I thought of something. "All right, I will give you the mirror back, but could you tell me what you are writing on the mirror and why?" She paused, looking uneasy after an uncomfortable moment. But Gallas said not to tell anyone about the countdown. She stopped herself, looked scared at what she had just said, and stopped talking. "Who is Gallus? Is he the mirror man?" I asked her, but she had resolved to stop talking. I asked again, and she looked down at the flood, but nodded her head. I gave up and handed her back the mirror. Whatever this game really was, I couldn't figure it out. That evening, I stayed up after putting Cassie to bed, and like clockwork, I heard her leave her room and creep down the stairs. I saw her take the marker, and she seemed to move in an odd, almost hypnotic trance. She scrawled the markings on the hand mirror and then the wall mirror, and when I stepped closer to see her and get her attention, I noticed, to my horror, that her eyes were glazed over and she looked barely conscious. The marking looked like two narrow Ys, and I knew I had to do something. I grabbed Cassie's shoulders and gently shook her, and she snapped out of the trance with a scream like she had just had a night of terror. I hugged her and told her it was okay. She kept asking if it was time and if Gallus, the mirror man, was there yet. After some fitful mumbling, she calmed down, and I took her back upstairs, and she even fell asleep in my arms on the way up the stairs. Since she was sleeping, I took the mirror, and the handle felt hot and almost burned me. I wondered how it had gotten that way. I took a picture of the symbol, and what I found when looking it up online was very strange. The characters most closely resembled ancient Sumerian numerals. How the hell did she learn to write these? Next, I decided to look up Gallus. I didn't find anything initially, but I looked up the term in relation to Sumerian terminology, and what I saw was deeply disturbing. The name Gallas or Galu referred to great demons or devils of the ancient Mesopotamian religion that stole victims away to the underworld to be tormented regardless of guilt or innocence. I started thinking about the Sumerian numerals counting down and how Cassie had said the mirror man or Gallas would be there when the countdown finished. There was no way this was real. It had to be a joke. Cassie couldn't believe ancient Sumerian numbers and the literal name of a caste of demonic kidnappers. I was getting legitimately freaked out at that point, and I was so distracted by my research that I noticed the time and realized she might be back at it again, and I likely missed her trance-like sleepwalking. I checked the bathroom mirror to confirm, and it had two large, slender Ys, which must represent the number 2. Every other mirror in the house bore this number as well. I did not know what to do. I started looking for Cassie to put her back to bed. Yet, to my absolute shock and horror, Cassie was gone. I tore the house up looking for her, pleading for her to come out from wherever she was hiding, but to no use. I called the police and gave them her description and the story in case she had run away, sparing the more paranoid and supernatural concern from the situation and hoping if she did run away, they would help find her. I had almost fallen asleep on the couch downstairs, where I had been calling everywhere I could think of to check if anyone had seen her in between going out and searching the neighborhood. I had spent all day searching for her until, at about midnight, I heard the front door open slowly and then slam shut. My heart leaped. It must be her. I wheeled around and shouted, "Cassie, you're back." I was so worried. Yet there was no reply. I couldn't believe it, but all I heard was the squeaking of writing, and then I realized she was writing a single character, which must mean one, on every mirror in another trance. That was last night. I don't know what to do now. My wife's flight was delayed. It is still just us. Cassie is asleep in her room. I took the mirror again, and it sits on the nightstand near my desk, where I am writing this. I have an inescapable feeling of dread at the thought of what happens at the end of that countdown. I know whatever this is, it must just be a game. It can't be real. I know she needs help and that this must be a cry for help, but I don't know what to do. My eyes feel heavy suddenly, and I think I need to lay down. Somehow, I woke up holding the mirror. The numbers were all there. Cassie is asleep. Somehow she slept through it. But something happened. I was holding the mirror and the marker when I saw the numbers and brand new and strange signs on the mirrors that were not there before. Worst of all, it was all in my handwriting. As I struggle to make sense of it, I feel the pressure of some unseen force. I take a look into the oddly shifting side of the mirror, and the reflection starts to give way to something else, a face made of pure darkness with deep red eyes. Suddenly, the mirror cracks under the strain of the force and then shatters. I jump in surprise, and just as I recover from the shock, I hear a cacophony of breaking glass throughout the house as the pressure is released, and I feel a wave of terror in the pit of my stomach as I smell a rush of fetid air and the faint sound of an unnatural voice echoing in the distance. The Mirror Man is real, and whatever he is, I think I just let him out. I need to get Cassie and get out of here now before her friend finds us. I wish for happiness in your family. Thank you for listening to this story. Be sure to subscribe to this channel and click on the bell icon to meet us again and hear more stories like this. Bye for now.
If you like our story, subscribe English Practice Stories channel and click the bell icon.